What is up, folks? I am back here today for my Week 3 match of the PPFC Season 3, and today my opponent is none other than 43PlasticBags, who is definitely not someone who should be slept on as a battler. They have quite a bit of experience. They've been PPFC, I think, pretty sure they were using Season 1, yeah. This has been all 3 seasons. He's also the co-founder of the PPFC March Madness, which is like the little, off-season spin-off. So that's hype. So yes, he's got a lot of knowledge under his belt. So we will see how this match plays out. But before we get into all that, you already know the deal. I gotta go over my team first. So let me give you all the breakdown. So first and foremost, we got Enamorous Nicki Minaj back again because as it turns out, the combination of Moonblast plus Earth Power is really good, and there's not a lot of Pokemon that can deal with it very well. But also more than that, Enamorous is just really good into his team in general, because if we can go show you guys, take a look over here. It does have Garchomp, who is obviously a very scary Pokemon, but Enamorous deals with it very, very solidly, so I don't have to worry about that too much. Stops his Chestnut with relative ease, can just one-shot it with Moonblast. And yeah, in general, just not a lot of mons that appreciate the combination of Moonblast plus Earth Power, because all his main, Fairy Resist, Glow-King, Tankaton, Swirledge, what have you, Toxtricity, they all kind of get goobed by Earth Power, so that's sick. And yeah, also that just had a nice speed tier versus team. It was faster than most of his guys, so I thought Enamorous was definitely a great pick. Just rocking boots with the Moonblast EP, and then Calm Mind, Draining Kiss for last moves. Draining Kiss just for some extra recovery if I can get it, and then Calm Mind was just, I wasn't really planning on sweeping with this thing, but it was I wasn't very sold on specs for this match, and I did want some extra power if I could get it. The main thing was I just didn't know when I would be able to get a Calm Mind up, but I figured I'd bring it anyway just to have, in case the situation did present itself, that I could get one up and I could be at +1, which would be very, very beneficial for me. Yes. Next up we have Lil Wayne Heatran back again, rocking out with Magma Storm, EP, Taunt, and Will-O-Wisp. So this is basically your classic Heatran trapping type set, and this was designed mainly for Slowking, who is a very annoying Pokemon on his team, mainly because how well it pairs with Titan, who's also a big issue, as we'll get to later. But yes, so the idea with Heatran is I could come in on Slowking, right, and barring a water move like Surf or Hydro Pump, it really doesn't have anything to touch Heatran, so I could just send it in and hopefully be able to get a Magma Storm up to trap it. I can taunt it so it can't slack off or go for Chilly Reception, as it loves to do, and then I could just chip it down with Magma Storm plus the super effective Earth Power, and that was the main idea behind it. Also, Heatran just had a good matchup against his Tankaton, because Tankaton also has really nothing to touch Heatran. It's a very good switch into it. Pack the Will-O-Wisp just so I could burn this thing and cripple it, just so it can do even less to Heatran. I figured just in case he thought of bringing a Swords Dance set, even though I thought that was unlikely, but just on the off chance I could have that. And yeah, just dealt with Tankaton very, very nicely, and also helped out with other stuff, it was a fire immunity against Swirledge, so that was cool. Also, Cyclizar didn't have much to touch Heatran either, so that was good as well. And yeah, so all in all, I thought it was a very solid bring. Next up, we have Little Uzi Vert, the Diancie, making his debut appearance as the first match. So Diancie's here for one reason, not only one reason, but mainly one reason, and that is, if we go back, this guy, this Iron Hugilus. He's a very big threat, Mondo threat, one could say, because the dual stab coverage with Hurricane and Dark Pulse hits my team very, very hard, and I don't like it because I don't have a lot of good switch-ins. Fortunately, I do have the Yancy who can handle it fairly well. Just rocking that max SPDEF just so I could take hits as well as possible. I did the calcs and I didn't really seem like I needed to invest EVs and like other stats. Really didn't make much of a difference, so I just decided screw it, just go all in, take as little damage as I can. I do have the Beery Berry, which if you don't know what that is, that's the berry that weakens super effective steel moves, because I was afraid that the possibility of him bringing Flash Cannon on the Jugulus, that would obviously not be good for Diancie, so I packed the berry just to have it in my back pocket so I can live one and hopefully hit back with something. Just got Draining Kiss, Moonblast, Earth Power, and Rocks. Draining Kiss for the recovery, Moonblast just like stronger, more consistent damage. Earth Power, again, kind of the same reasoning for Enamorus, just like because all his fairy resists are also weak to Earth Power and just like has good coverage against his team. And then Rocks, because of course you always want the hazards, and I thought Rocks would be beneficial over Spikes in this matchup because it does have guys like Cerule Edge that could be Focus Sash, which I want to break that for sure. And also like mons off the ground like Rotom and Jugulus that wouldn't get hit by Spikes. But mainly I think I just wanted Rocks for Titan because this thing it is Ice type obviously, so it is weak to the Rocks, but it does love to Terra, so I really just wanted like to get up Rocks very early on, so that way whenever Titan comes out, assuming it's not Boots, it has to come in and take 25% before it can Terra, so that was the thought process behind that. Next we got Drake back again, running a defensive set this time, so if we go back, there's a lot of back and forth, but we go back my opponent's team, we can see he's got the big Toxtricity, who is a super giga gigantic threat because he just hits so hard and he's just very, very scary. Now I do have Ting Lu, who I was debating on bringing, as you can see here, but I ultimately decided not to bring him because I figured that like he is an electric immunity, which is always sick, but like a Boom Burst would still like really hurt from like a Specs Toxtricity. Ting Lu wouldn't take that very well, so I ultimately decided I thought Decidueye was actually the better switch in for Toxtricity because obviously it's immune to the Boom Burst because it's a Ghost type, and also it resists the electric attacks. Sludge Bomb does do a good amount of damage if it is Specs, but I figured it would still be. I mainly just wanted something to switch into Boom Burst plus Overdrive, and I thought the Decidueye would be my best bet. Also, this thing is very good into Rotom Wash because it can just like, as long as he doesn't have some like crazy moves like Shadow Ball or Ice Beam or whatever, which probably like is not the most likely to show up. You could just switch into like Hydro Pump or Volt Switch and just take it with ease, and also doesn't care that much about being burned because I'm not running an offensive set. So yeah. Got just the leftovers for extra recovery, and also in the event that I do get burned by Rotom, I can just like I don't have to worry about the constant chip because the leftovers would cancel it out. Then we got the Roost for recovery, Giga Drain, which is also recovery and also just good for Rotom in general, and then knock off a U-turn just for utility, getting rid of items, being able to pivot out, all that stuff. Long reach, the abilities wasn't like that big a deal. I did think of Overgrow just to have stronger Giga Drain, but I thought Long Reach would have been better just in case he did bring that Garchomp because it does have the rough skin, and I would not like taking chip from that. So yeah, enough special attack to two-shot Rotom with Giga Drain if it's not specially defensive, and then the rest is just HP and special defense to take hits from Toxtricity. Also, I'm now realizing I didn't even go over Heatran's EVs, so let me backtrack a little bit. So as you can see, we're just going like mostly HP and speed, with a little bit in defense, just to eat hits a little better. So the HP was because, you know, again, this thing was like a switch in for Slowking and Tinkaton. I wanted to take hits, but the speed was mainly for Toxtricity because Toxtricity has 75 speed, so Heatran's able to speed creep it because it is 77 speed. So I thought Toxtricity is scary. And, you know, I figured if I could be faster, I could just bring this in, click Earth Power, and get the kill. So I thought that would have been good for this matchup. However, I was back and forth. I did have a separate EV spread I can show you right here that was more had more special attack investment. This one I believe was enough speed to outspeed Tankaton with no speed investment. And then again, just a little bit in defenses, and then just dump the rest of the EVs and the nature into special attack, just so I could have got more chip against stuff like Glow King or Tankaton and that sort of thing. But ultimately, I thought the speed would have been better for this matchup because their Toxtricity is very scary. So I did like being faster than it, but it was a toss up because I was very back and forth. But I thought Toxtricity is scary. It'd be good to have another answer for it. So yes, there's that. Now we go to Waka Flocka, the Cryogonal back. And this thing was crucial for this match. This thing was like the linchpin. He held it all together because if you look at his team, he's got big threats like Garchomp, and you know, a lot of scary guys. Tankaton could be an issue, but mainly he's got Titan, and Titan just frankly goobs my entire team. I have very little answers for this mon. The combination of Ice, Stab, plus Earthquake is a very, very big issue for my team because a lot of my main Ice resists like Heatran or Toxapex are not going to like take an Earthquake, especially because this thing is a Terra Captain, so it can turn into a ground type, and then Earthquake is Stab, so I really don't have very good answers for this. However, I did have one, the chosen one, the Savior Cryogonal, was the only thing stopping me from getting swept by Titan, because this thing does resist the Ice Stab and is immune to the Earthquake because of Levitate, so I figured this thing was going to be my best bet, and I had to bring it. I'm rocking that physically defensive set, which Cryogonal's not really known for his physical defense, but I figured we can make it work, because we didn't really have any other options. As it is max defense, a lot of HP. I think this is enough speed to be faster than modest Toxtricity, and then just a little bit of special attack just to get more consistent damage against some mons. So for Terra type, I chose Steel. Also, I forgot to talk about Terra type for Decidueye. I'm all over the place. Yes, Decidueye also being one of my Terra Captains. I decided to give him Terra Water because I wasn't really sure what Terra type to give him, honestly. But I figured Water would be good just in case, like, if the Titan got out of hand, I could bring this thing in and then, like, Terra, and then I would resist the ice attacks and then maybe get some damage off, do something. So yeah, that wasn't like a big deal, really. I just figured, you know, that could have come in handy just on the off chance. But yes, Cryogonal for its Terra type is Terra Steel, because I thought, you know, that'd be good for resisting hits from stuff like Titan and Garchomp. Because of course, if I turn to a Steel type, then I can pretty much wall Garchomp, right? Because I'm immune to the ground. I resist Dragon at that point, and it really doesn't have anything to hit me unless it brings like Fire Blast or something. But even then, Cryogonal's got pretty good special defense, so I could probably take it relatively well. So initially, with Cryogonal, the idea was just to Terra Steel, like right off the bat, just because, you know, Ice, typically not very good typing for defenses. But then I thought to myself, wait a second, this thing's here mainly to wall Titan and Garchomp. And Garchomp, I thought, well, there's a decent chance that might not even show up, because I do have a lot of answers for it, such as an Amorous. But also, if it's mainly there to wall Titan, when is the Titan going to be out? Well, it's usually going to come out after Slowking goes for Chilly Reception, which means the snow will be up, which means the ice types will get a defense buff. So I thought to myself, wait a second, if snow's up and Cryogonal's out, it's going to be taking hits even better than it would already if it's still an ice type. And I figured to myself, well, if I'm going against the Titan, I probably don't even really need to turn to a Steel type, right? Because either way, I still resist the ice moves. I'm still immune to Earthquake, and if he does bring superpower for coverage to try to deal with this thing, then that's going to be super effective on me regardless if I'm an ice type or a Steel type. So I figured if Garchomp doesn't show up, it's probably better to just stay an ice type. That way, like, if snow's up, then like I can bring this thing in and it'll get the defense boost, and it'll take hits even better than it would already. So that was kind of a third eye opening moment. I was like, wait a second, Ice type is good defensively in this matchup. That's crazy. So I did have lefties at first because I figured, you know, I was just gonna Terra as soon as possible. But then once I realized that like being an Ice type actually isn't that bad this matchup, I decided to give him boots just so I don't have to worry about the rocks. And then yes, we got the recover. As always, haze just in case. This was actually flash cannon originally, just so I have like stab as a steel type. But I thought, like, looked at his team and I was like, that doesn't, like, flash cannon doesn't hit anything besides the Titan, and the Titan is almost assuredly going to Terra as soon as it comes out and changes its type. So I figured flash cannon probably wasn't even that necessary. So I decided to give it haze instead, just in case he brought belly drum on the Titan, because that would be very, very not good if he got a belly drum up. It'd probably just sweep my team because I don't even think Cryogonal could take hits that well if he's at +6. So yeah, that was that. And then I got rapid spin on him, just, you know, get rid of the hazards, all that. And we got freeze dry for a tagging move. I thought freeze dry would have been really good because he's got a lot of mons weak to ice, like the Garchomp, and yeah, Chestnut. But also, you know, because obviously freeze dry hits water types as well, so it was good for the Rotom, and also good for Titan because its 2 Terra types were either ground or water. So even though I was pretty sure he's gonna bring the ground Terra, just on the off chance he brought water, the freeze dry would be able to hit it super effective regardless, whatever type it turned into. So that's pretty sick. So that's Cryogonal, very, very important for this matchup. And then last but not least, we do have Kendrick Salamence, who's rocking a D-Dance set, because I did look at his team, and if you guys look, you may have also noticed he does not have good Dragon answers at all. His only real one is Tinkaton, who is pretty good, but is also not gonna appreciate an Earthquake that much. And beyond that, his only other switch-in is like Terra Steel Cyclozar, which I was pretty sure he wasn't going to Terra this thing because he was probably going to Terra the Titan instead. So Tinkaton was his only real switch-in. So I figured, honestly, Mence could probably just do a number on his team. So I decided to run Dragon Dance because I like the extra power and speed. After 1 D-Dance, I can be faster than Garchomp, assuming it's not Scarf. And it should be faster than Cyclozar as well. And just also getting the attack boost is nice. Helps me do more damage to Tinkaton with Earthquake. And yeah, Dragon Claw for the Dragon Stab, and then Roost for the recovery. Just because I figured I didn't really need a 4th move, just because like these two just handle his whole team basically. So I figured why not just like so I can stay healthy, all that. Just got max attack. I forget what this speed is for. Oh, I remember. This is enough speed to be faster than Ceruledge before any D-Dance, so I can still outspeed without any boosts, and I can just like kill it with an Earthquake if I need to. Although I did think this Mence was actually a really good switch into Ceruledge, because I can't really do much because I resist the Fire Stab, I resist CC if he wants to go for that, and yeah, I mean a Ghost move, he doesn't resist, but like, what was he going to go for? Like Shadow Sneak? That's not going to do much. And Shadow Claw, that would hurt like a little bit, but I could still take it pretty well, especially after an Intimidate. So I figured if he did bring the Ceruledge, I could honestly just like bring this out and just D-Dance up on it. But yeah, the item is Lumberry. I was thinking Boots, because you know, Boots are reliable. Don't like that rocks damage. But then I was like, actually, if I'm Lumberry, then that means I could set up easier against Rotom, because Rotom also like pretty good to set up on because I can eat a Hydro and Volt Switch pretty well. But of course I would not appreciate a Will-O-Wisp if he went for that, so I figured if I had Lumberry, that would give me an easier time setting up. I don't have to worry about status. Also don't really have to worry about stuff like T-Wave from Tinkaton and all that, so ultimately I thought Lumberry would have been better over Boots, because if my Mence got status, that would be very bad, because my plan with Mence was pretty much he was going to be my cleanup. He was kind of like my one condition, right? Once his team's weakened, I find a chance to D-Dance up and then just sweep, hopefully. That was the idea. But yeah, that is the team. And now, let us get into the match proper, shall we? So, looking at his team, this is kind of what I was expecting him to bring, something like this. I knew the Titan was coming because there's no way he wasn't bringing it. If he brought the Titan, he was bringing Slow King. Rotom and Cyclizar, also kind of expected because he's been bringing them a lot, and also just like good pivots for his team. Cyclizar, I figure like he definitely wants for the Rapid Spin because he doesn't have a lot of hazard removal, so I figured he'd want this guy up so he can spin away rocks for Titan and all that. Rotom just pretty good. Tinkaton, I knew he was bringing Tinkaton because, you know, I had Mence, and Mence was very scary. So I figured that, and then he did bring the Jugulus. I was a little unsure if he was going to bring the Hugilus or Toxtricity. I was kind of back and forth on that, but he did bring the Hugilus instead. So, yeah, I felt pretty well prepared, all things considered. But, yeah, let us get into the match, shall we? So, first things first, turn 1, he leads Tinkaton. I decided to lead an Amorous because I was like, okay, let me see if I can just get off some big damage with an Amorous turn 1. If not, I do have pretty good switch-ins for like everything, pretty much. So not that worried about it. He does lead Tinkaton, and I do not like the idea of Gigaton Hammer if he has that, so I decided to switch out. Not going to risk the Earth Power. Just go straight to Heatran because I can handle it as he doubles into Rotom Wash. Very, very good play on his part. I guess, I don't know if he was expecting the Heatran swap, or if he was just worried about like Earth Power, like Specs Earth Power just goobing him, which I guess is fair. But either way, that's good. Puts him in a good position. I swap because I don't want to take a Hydro Pump. That would not be good. So I go into Decidueye as he gets up over Reflect, and I was not anticipating that. I saw Reflect. I was like, what is going on here? What is this Rotom? Is this dual screens? Is he Light Clay? What's going on? So this threw me for a loop. But yeah, he does just a hard swap out to Tinkaton, which I was surprised he didn't like Volt Switch, though I guess he didn't want to risk me being faster. So that's fair. It just brings this thing in as I click Knockoff, get rid of its lefties, which is very, very good. Because that means I can chip down Tinkaton a lot easier, which is very good. Now I just go hard Heatran as he gets up rocks. Not great for me, but not terrible either. I do have to try to Rapid Spin those way before I can bring out Mence because, you know, he's not going to appreciate those, but it is what it is. So Heatran's out. First Tinkaton, he swaps back out to his Rotom as I, you know, Will-O-Wisp off. Just get a little chip. Figured he'd switch out, but I thought, you know, wouldn't be hurt to get some passive chip on whatever comes out, so I just went for Willow there. And I just it's just the same thing over and over, just back every time he brings out Tinkaton, go Heatran because that's my switch in. Every time he goes into Rotom, bring out Decidueye because that's my switch in. Yada yada yada. So in comes Decidueye, takes the Rocks chip, goes for Volt Switch, does not that much, and in comes big threat Jugulus. So I see this, I get scared. I'm like, all right, the Antsy is my answer for this thing, right? It could just go for the Dark or Flying move because those are both super effective on Decidueye. The NC should be able to take either of those just fine. As he predicts my switch and ends up going for Earth Power, and now I was like, okay, this is not good because my DNC now is taking a ton of damage. I die to another Earth Power, and I was like, shoot, this is bad. That was a very good read on his part. So now I'm like, all right, well, now what? This is not good. This is very not good. I'm out against this Life Orb Hugilus, and my main switch-in's already almost dead. So I think to myself, okay, well, if he has Earth Power, he probably doesn't have Flash Cannon, right? Because I'm thinking his set is going to be like Dual Stab, Dark Pulse Hurricane, and then he was going to have a coverage move, either Flash Cannon or Earth Power, something to hit DNC. I wasn't, you know, didn't know which it was going to be. And then last was probably like U-turn or something. So he did reveal the Earth Power, so I was like, okay, if he has Earth Power, he probably doesn't have Flash Cannon. So if he's just going to click it again, I think I can just bring in an Amorous and threaten the Moonblast, or maybe even get up a Calm Mind if I'm feeling cheeky. So I go for the play, bring in an Amorous. as he clicks Flash Cannon, and Enamorus just dies. So that's really sick and cool. I actually don't know. I didn't run the calc. I don't know if DNC stayed in, if it would have even lived the Flash Cannon, because I did have the berry. I didn't know. Maybe it could have lived. I honestly don't know. But the fact that I thought he was just going to click Earth Power again. I was not expecting him to have Earth Power and Flash Cannon on the same set. So, needless to say, this is very bad for me because it's turn 8 and my Enamorus is already dead. So, this is not going well for yours truly. This Hugilus has already done numbers to me. Killed my Enamorus. The NC's weak. So now I'm shaking in my boots a little bit, you could say. So at this point I was like, all right, I gotta stop messing around. I gotta play some real live gaming. You know what I'm saying? So I look at my team. I look at Hugilus. I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do to this thing? So I decide my best bet's to go out into Cryogonal because he has revealed Earth Power and Flash Cannon. If I Terra Steel, I resist the Flash Cannon. I'm already immune to Earth Power. Plus, if you got a flying move, I can take that. If I'm Terra Steel, Dark Pulse would still not be appreciated because I do not have any special defense investment. However, I figured I didn't really have any other option at this point, because nothing else on my team would want to take a hit. So I figured I just have to put all my chips on Cryogonal. So I am kind of forced to Terra here. I can't really save it. I try to be an Ice type out against Titan, like I said I could, because desperate times call for desperate measures, and I was like, okay, I think I need the Steel typing here just so I can resist and eat hits and all that stuff. So he does end up switching his Jugulus out, so I do click Terra Steel and I go for Rabbit Spin because I was like, I cannot have these rocks up at all. I wasn't that worried if he stayed in because I should have lived the hit decently well regardless, and at that point after a spin I should have been faster. I could have clicked Freeze Dry or something, so I wasn't that worried. But he does end up switching, and Tinkaton as I get the rocks off. Now I bring back in Heatran because I don't like Tinkaton. He's not great again into my team, so I need Heatran to take all the hits I can, as he does knock off my leftovers, which is very unfortunate, but it is what it is. As he does bring in Rotom, so I double out to Decidueye because I'm onto him. I know his games. He can't fool me. I'm not gonna lose any momentum here, no sir. So I do bring in straight out to Decidueye as he hard swaps into his Cyclozar, and I think I click U-turn because I'm not losing any momentum at this point. I'm already down in Mon. I was like, I cannot just sit and play passive. So actually do a good amount of chip to the Cyclozar with U-turn. It's kind of surprising because I have no attack investment and it's not stab, but that is some good damage. That is what we like to see. So yes, I U-turn out to Heatran because this thing's my best switch in for this thing. Shouldn't be able to do much unless it has Aqua Tail, but that's it. And yeah, I mean, the rest of my team doesn't really handle it that well anyway, so I figure now it's a good time to bring him in as he goes for U-turn, which is a very safe play, understandable. As I click Magma Storm because I was like, I need to get chip on something, whatever comes out, even if it's Rotom. You just get damage off on it, because if Rotom gets chipped down, that's actually very good for me because it makes it easier for Salamence to sweep later. So he's Magma Stormed. He's taking the chip and the burn damage, which is great. Go back to Decidueye because he's always my switch in as he Volt switches out to take a ton. This is fine for me. I just go hard to Tran as he T-Waves, which is a good play by him. Again, that's very unfortunate for my Heatran, but it is what it is. He's, I need him to take hits this much. So if it, he switches in, gets paralyzed, I mean, it is what it is. I just need him to be able to do what I need him to do. Is the main thing. So yeah, now I'm sitting here hoping okay, Heatran, please please don't get paralyzed. I need you to pull through. As I click Magma Storm again, and fortunately enough, I do not get paralyzed, and I get some more chip off on Rotom, which is wonderful. So now he's down very low from the Magma Storm chip, the burn chip. So this is beautiful for me. This is the main problem with Rotom, especially this gen, because he doesn't have Pain Split anymore. So it's very easy to chip him down. So using that to my advantage, and here I stay in because like, I know you're Volt Switching. I know you're gonna Volt Switch. I'm not going back out to Decidueye, not doing the same old games. I'm gonna stay in, and you got to bring in someone. I think I just click Magma Storm again, right? Yes, because I'm like that. Because I'm real. I knew he was gonna Volt Switch. So landed another Magma Storm. As you know, don't get parried again, which is great. Now the Slowking's trap, which is beautiful. This is exactly what I want. So again, I'm just sitting here like, Heatran, I need you to pull through. I need you to do me good here. As I go for taunt, and I do not get paralyzed, and the Slowking is taunted, so he cannot Chilly Reception. None of that shenanigans. He is stuck here with me, which is perfect. However, something a little less than perfect is he does have the Surf, which is not that surprising, but it does do a lot to Heatran. So I was like, shoot, this is not what I want. Because now one more Surf, Heatran's dead. So I was thinking to myself, I had a decision to make this turn. Do I stay in with Heatran, click Earth Power, and try to get as much chip off on this guy as I can? Or do I switch out someone else and try to preserve? Because, I mean, this was a tough scenario because I didn't want to have to lose Heatran this early, but also, like, if I did preserve him, then like the Magma Storm would end, and like Slowking could just switch out, and because of Regenerator, he basically get all his health back, and like it wouldn't like I pretty much would have accomplished nothing in that scenario. So I do end up making the tough call and decide getting damage on this thing is better overall. So I do stay in, get Earth Power off. Does a good amount, but it's not enough, sadly. So this whole interaction, in hindsight, I really wish I brought the special attack invested set to this match instead of the speed oriented one, because if I did have that special attack investment, I'm like pretty sure the Slowking would have died here. With the combination of the Magma Storm chip plus Earth Power being super effective, and having more, special attack, having to deal more damage, I think Slowking could have died. Maybe it was a roll. I don't know what the calcs are on that exactly, 'cause I'm not totally sure what set he was running. But yeah, really wish I had brought the special attacking set instead, because that would have really changed the way this game played out, as we'll see later. But yeah, super unfortunate, but it is what it is. So Slowking does live at 20%. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm already down 2 mons. This is not great. I need to get my rocks up whenever possible, because my Diancie already weak. It can't switch in very well. But fortunately, there is an opportunity here that presented itself, because I am faster than Slowking. If he wants to stay in, he can click Surf, and I probably would get the kill, but it means getting rocks up. I'm like almost okay with that. But I figured he probably wouldn't stay in because he's scared of like the Earth Power or something getting the kill. So as he does switch out to Rotom, which so probably shows he was scared of Earth Power, as I just get the rocks up, which is beautiful for me because that's exactly what I wanted. So now I'm gonna chip off on everything. The Slowking's weak, the Rotom's weak. If the Titan and Jugulis come out, they're going to take a lot of damage. So this is good for me. In comes Rotom. I stay on the Volt Switch. Why did I make this play? I think I stayed in because I think I go for Draining Kiss here, right? This brings in Tinkaton. Do I? Oh, I click Earth Power. Oh my god, I'm savage. I'm crazy. So yeah, I had to make super aggressive plays in this match, because I was like, okay, I'm down. I'm on the back foot big time. So I need to pull this out somehow. I got to turn this around. So I figured I made the read that he probably wasn't going to click Hydro because the Decidueye swap is obvious. So I would stay in on his Volt Switch, and then the natural, he'd go into probably either Slowking or Tankaton, expecting the Fairy move to come out. So I went for Earth Power instead, because I'm just like that, I guess you could say. So yeah, out comes the big stink. I click Earth Power, does a good amount of damage, beautiful chip, and now I decided to bring in Salamence because I'm done messing around. I forgot he had own tempo and that blocks Intimidate, so that was kind of rough. But yeah, I figured for one thing, I didn't want him to get rocks up again. Which I mean, I could have spun them again later, but I didn't want to have to deal with that. I did not want to leave Dancy in because I did not want to take a Gigaton if he had it. At this point, I was like, okay, I don't think there's a good chance he doesn't have Play Rough. I thought even if he did, I could get the Intimidate off, but again, his ability happened, so I forgot about that. But anyway, I decided I need damage. I need offensive presence because I need to threaten somehow because he still has all 6 his mons. I need to achieve something here, and I already lost Namrus, so I can't deal damage with that thing, and the rest of my mons aren't doing that much damage either. So I figured, okay, I gotta bring in Mence. I gotta do something. Gotta do something. I could try to get a D-Dance up in front of this thing. As it does click Gigaton Hammer, it does a lot, but the good thing is, because how Gigaton Hammer works, can't click it again. If he does T-Wave, I do have the Lumberry, so I'm not that concerned, so I can really just stay in here and not be threatened as I do get the dance up. And I decided, I think this turn I was debating, do I go for Roost or do I just kill this thing? Because I could click Roost. Actually, what do I do? Do I? No, okay. I thought I could have gone for the Roost just to be at full, which would have been nice. But, he could have went for the Willow, and that would have been fine, but it would have burned my Lumberry, so I thought, I probably should save it, right? Because he can always just bring in that Titan and threaten to kill my Salamence at any point, so he's probably not... Salamence can't really sweep until the Titan is down, so I figured I probably should be better to save my Lumberry just in case, because the Tigaton does have T-Wave, so I could try to set up in front of that thing again later. So I thought probably better to save it. So I do just kill it with the Dragon Claw as he brings in the Titan. Oh boy. So I do get the big chip with the rocks, which is great for me. I'm super happy about that. But now I have to go Cryogonal. I can't be risking anything, as he does just click Ice Shard and doesn't do anything. So I doubled the Decidueye. For one, I'm scouting to see if he had superpower, because I was very scared of the superpower. If he went for it, the Decidueye would be immune, obviously. But also just, if he swapped out to something else, the Decidueye can U-turn out, all that stuff. But he does just double the Slowking, which I was anticipating. If he didn't have superpower, he's probably just going to switch out, as he does. So bring in the Decidueye, and he swaps out the Cyclizar, and I think I click knockoff here. So I get rid of his boots, which are very, very good, because that means he's going to take more damage from rocks. And now he's kind of in an awkward spot, because he can't Rapid Spin on me because I'm a ghost type, so he could knock me off, which I really don't want to get knocked off. But I mean, at this point, my team is stretched pretty thin, and honestly, the Decidueye, he's not that crucial at this point, because okay, Rotom's down and Toxtricity didn't even show up, so at this point, the Decidueye doesn't really handle that much on his team. So I figured I can't stay in, eat the knockoff, I lose my leftovers, but then I can get a Roost up, and now that I lost my item, knockoff's not going to do that much to me anymore. It's going to be doing less, because I figured it'd be better to stay in here with the Decidueye, just to make sure he can't get rid of my rocks, because I worked hard to get those up, and I do not want them to just go away that easy. So I just stay in, eat the hit, as he does reveal the Ice Spinner. Makes sense for him to have it, because it does handle stuff like a Namorous and Mence on my team. but Sidgewai able to take that reasonably well as I go for another roost. And then I decided to swap because I was like, okay, looking at his moveset, I don't think he has anything to touch Cryogonal. His last move's probably Rapid Spin, but I figured he wasn't going to click it this turn against the Sidgewai because I was just staying in. So I was like, okay, I can bring in Cryogonal. U-turn's not going to do anything. Ice Spinner's not going to do anything. If he goes for knockoff, I just lose my boots, which at this point I don't really need them because, like, okay, what are they for? Rocks. If he gets those up, I resist those anyway because I'm a steel type now. So Cryogonal, pretty safe switch in here. As he clicks knockoff again, does a good amount. I do lose my boots, but it's whatever. So now he has a choice. He can stay in and spin, get the rocks off. But I have freeze dry, so I could get some damage off on him. If he doesn't, if he is scared of freeze dry, he can just switch out. But that means I keep my rocks. So he does just U-turn out. He does not want to mess with this ice coverage. As I do click freeze dry onto Tinkaton, he takes pretty well, obviously because he resists. Gets up his rocks, which is fine because I can just spin them again later as I just click recover, get back to full because this thing doesn't really have anything to touch me. So yeah, clicks T-Wave, not great, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm slower than his whole team already, so it doesn't really matter. I'm kind of surprised. He's got a. I guess he got a speedy Tinkaton. Interesting. I don't realize that until just now. Anyway, so I get the full pair of that on that turn, so that's fun. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter that much because since I knocked off this thing's leftovers, it's not getting HP back as this happens. So this is honestly not that big a deal for me. I can just like click Rapid Spin again this turn. As he does bring in the Glow King, get a little bit of chip, get the rocks away. As I double out to Mence, because I was again like I need to have offensive pressure. I need to threaten Mons, because I do have the Earthquake. As he just go for the Chilly Reception, it brings in Cyclozar, not the Titan, because I guess he knew I would just double out to Cryogonal. And he does have the Ice Spinner, but I figured, okay, well I can still go out to Cryogonal here. He doesn't threaten me at all. So I eat the Ice Spinner very easily. He does go for Rapid Spin here, just to remove the rocks, but I stay in and click Freeze Dry, and he barely lives, which is so upsetting. Because if I could have gotten the kill on this thing, that would have been superb. Would have been sublime, even you could say. That would have been huge for me if I got the kill on it. But sadly, he just barely lives. So I don't know what that roll was. Could calculate, but yeah, maybe it didn't have a chance to kill. Maybe that, for all I know, that could have been a max roll. But yeah, either way though, still very sad to see him live on 6%. Anywho, doubles out to Slow King. As I just click Freeze Dry again, get a nice crit. But yeah, so at this point, I'm just like, okay, let me just get. I'm scared to like bring in any of my other guys, and I figured like Cryogonal can kind of handle things because like looking at his team, he does not have a lot that can deal with it. He hasn't brought in his Jugulus out against this thing at all, which kind of surprised me. But that had me thinking, okay, I guess he doesn't have anything to hurt me with. Like he probably doesn't have Fire Blaster. Like he might not even have Dark Pulse if he hasn't brought this thing in out. If he keeps like just like switching around, so like I guess he doesn't have anything to really hurt Cryogonal, so that's like pretty good for me. I just click Ice Beam, and yeah, I just keep clicking Freeze Dry, getting some chip off, maybe like fishing for a freeze if I can. As he just goes with the Chilly Reception, brings Cyclozar back out. As he clicks U-turn and goes back to Slow King. So now, as you may probably notice, he's just doing regenerator shenanigans. He's just switching back and forth between these guys and just keep getting HP back. So as I click recover just to get back at full. So I get paralyzed. Let me turn this on to fast. So this is basically this is the struggle of an unstoppable force and an immovable object, because he has nothing to break through my Cryogonal, as I mentioned. But whoa, okay, something happens. Sorry, wait. We weren't at the part that I thought we were. Hold up. Excuse me. He does go to Tinkaton here. And it's okay. Well, what's this thing gonna do? He doesn't have anything to hurt me. So he goes for Gigaton. as I just freeze dry for chip. And then here, staying on the knockoff, I click recover. And what happens next? Goes to Slow King. Double to DNC. Right, so my thought process here. DNC, I was thinking like, okay, I want like a safe switch into Mence, because I don't want, like, if I bring it out and it just clicks a Gigaton Hammer on me, that's bad. There's a chance it could kill me, because it did 49 last time. So I wanted a clean switch to Mence, and to do that I would need something to take the Gigaton, because so that way he can't click it again next turn. Then I can bring in Mence. I could like maybe get D-Dance up. If he T-Waves, then I have the Lumberry. Yeah, all that stuff. So I brought in DNC to try to bait a Gigaton, as he does double to Slow King. So I decide, okay, I'm not going to leave DNC in, because I kind of need it as a sack at this point, just so I can bring in Mence for free. That's kind of my game plan at this point. So I just decided to go out to Decidueye, because I figured he's my most expendable mon at this point. And yeah, goes out to Cyclizar. I click knockoff again just in case he stayed in. Clicked Ice Beam. I didn't really care, because I don't need Decidueye that much at this point. Now I just go back to Cryogonal as he U-turns. Back to Tinkaton. And now I bring in DNC, trying to bait the Gigaton as he gets up rocks, which is not ideal for me. Really not. That does complicate things a bit. But anyway, I stay in as he goes for Gigaton. There's my berry, but it does not save me. And I go down, which is as expected, because now I bring in Mence. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I don't think D-Dance is the play, because the Cetitan is still alive, and that's bad. That's bad for me, because that means you can just come in at any point and just click Ice Shard. So the rocks have chipped me down quite a bit. I think I need to get health back. I need Mence healthy at any cost, because I can't have him weak and just like die to a few hits. I need him healthy so he can get up D-Dances and like hopefully try to bring this back. So I stay in. Intimidate doesn't work. I stay in and go for Roost as he misses the T-Wave, which is actually pretty big. Because I do have the Lumberry, but because he missed, I can stay in. I could Roost again, so I get back to full, because I don't really care if he clicks T-Wave, because again I have the Lumberry, so it's whatever. So I Roost again as he T-Waves, and there's the Lumberry. Beautiful. So now I just stay in and click Earthquake, because so at this point I could have killed the Tinkaton a long time ago, but my thought process was like, okay, Tinkaton, I was kind of saving it for setup fodder for Mence, because I was thinking, okay, this is probably like the thing that I can set up against the easiest, right? Because everything else a little scary, because Cetitan, Slow King, and Cyclizar all have ice moves that threaten Mence. So I thought if I kept this thing alive, I would hopefully get a chance to D-Dance up in front of it at some point later in the game. But at this point, I was like, I'm not certain of like the chances of that happening. So at this point, I decided, okay, I think I should just take the kill where I can, because again, score and point differential does matter in this draft league. So I figured it'd better to like risk anything and just like get the kill, and it's fine. As he brings in Cyclizar, and I go back to Cryogonal, and now we'll go to the fast speed, because this is what I'm talking about with the struggle between an unstoppable force and an immovable object, because he has no way of breaking through my Cryogonal. However, I also have no way of breaking through the combination of Cyclizar plus Glow King, because they can just keep switching back and forth and getting Regenerator. So yeah, this is really is not a clear way out. At this point, I'm just staying in, going for Freeze Dry, just like trying to see if I can get a freeze, and like maybe if that could swing things in my favor. But yeah, at this point, it's not looking good. It's not a clear end in sight for either of us. He can just keep switching back and forth, and like eventually I'm gonna run out of recover because I only have 3 left, and like once I'm out of recovers, like he can just chip me down, and like there's no there's nothing I can do at that point. So he Chilly Receptions this turn, goes to Cyclozar. I go to Decidueye, which what was my reason for this? Trying to think. I guess just to threaten more damage on like the Slowking, right? Try to get a knockoff. I think that was my thought process, because like Cryogonal wasn't accomplishing anything really. So I bring in Decidueye out against this Cyclozar as he goes hard to Satiate. I was like, all right, is this okay? Yes, I go back to Cryogonal because he's my switch in. And now back to this, speed it up. So yeah, I'm just trying. I'm like, can I get the freeze? Will that do anything for me? I go hard Mence here because I was like, okay, if I catch him on the Cyclozar swap, maybe I could do something, because like if he's -1, like I might be able to live an Ice Spinner from full and maybe get a D-Dance up. But you know, at this point this battle's been going on for a long time. If you couldn't tell, it's on turn 72, so my brain's kind of a pile of mush at this point. So of course, silly me, the Intimidate goes off, you know, when I bring Mence out, which means, you know, the Cyclozar does not get intimidated. So big goof on my part. So at this point, I'm just like, all right, I don't think I can win this. I don't think it's possible. I don't think Cryogonal can like hold out that long, because I'm just gonna get PP stalled eventually. Like there's not really anything I can do, because at some point I'm gonna run out of recover, and then like at that point I'm just gonna get whittled down, because these two can just keep switching back and forth basically forever, and just keep getting regenerators. So at this point I'm like, okay, I don't think I have it in me anymore. I don't think I can keep dragging this out any longer. So I basically just throw in the towel, and I let Salamence go down to Satian, and yeah, that's pretty much the game there. So this was in hindsight, it was a very, very upsetting game for me. The start was super unfortunate. Losing a Namorous that early definitely was a blow. And at this point, I'm just spamming haste, because like, okay, I'm just gonna let him kill me. There's no point. Resistance is futile. So yeah, it's very, very unfortunate. I was proud how I played towards like the middle. I was making some good plays, I thought. But in the end, like it was just I couldn't break that regenerator core. And like as long as the Titan was still there, the chance of Mence sweeping his team was like basically impossible. There's like no way that was going to happen. So yeah, it's just a really unfortunate outcome. Like things could have been different, bro. If Freeze Dry got the kill on Cyclozar, or if I brought the Heatran set with the special attack, I could have killed the Slowking, and this game could have gone very differently. But unfortunately, that did not happen, and you know what, it is what it is. So we are currently 1 and 2 in the league. 1 win, 2 losses. So it's not looking great for your boy. I'm gonna be honest. I know I said first. I know I said last week, like, okay, no more losses, but well, look how that turned out. But I really want to try. I don't think I can afford to lose any more matches, because if I do, I think there's a chance that I don't get into playoffs. So I have to really, really try to win the rest of my matches for the season, because the goal is still to get into playoffs. That is the bottom line. So if I lose another match, I'm not sure what the chances of that will be. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, very unfortunate match, unfortunate outcome, but well played to my opponent for sure. Definitely played very well. I'm not gonna try to take that away from him. Very well played, and it was just, you know, it was rough for me. rough matchup, but still GG's. And yeah, we're gonna try to bounce back, folks. I'm not giving up just yet. We're still gonna try to win the chip, but we'll see what ends up happening. But yes, thank you all for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will catch you all for the next video. Take it easy.